I spent one summer during college working at a lakeside resort in Michigan, the kind of gig where you live on site, clock in early, and spend your off hours drinking cheap beer on a dock with other seasonal workers. I was 19, and it felt like the freest I'd ever been. Early on, I became friends with this guy named Cody. He worked maintenance. Tall dude, tattoos, kind of quiet but really funny once you got a couple drinks in him. We clicked fast, like brothers. We'd hang out almost every night after our shifts, usually with a group, but sometimes just the two of us. One night in July, I was off late after a kitchen shift and saw Cody sitting alone by the fire pit near the employee cabins. I sat next to him and noticed he was weirdly quiet. When I asked if he was good, he said something like, "Yeah, just a weird night. Thought I saw something by the docks earlier." I laughed like, "What, a lake monster?" And he didn't really answer, just stared out toward the dark water. The next day, I heard from one of the other workers that Cody got into it with a guest at the resort. Apparently, the guy was drunk and aggressive, and Cody had to walk him back to his cabin. But Cody never talked about it. That was the first time I felt something off. The following week, I had a couple days off and took a late solo walk around the lake. There's this trail that loops behind the main cabins. No lights, just trees and the water on your right. I had a flashlight and earbuds in, and I swear I heard footsteps behind me a couple times. I'd stop, turn around. Nothing. But I felt like I was being watched the entire time. When I got back to the cabins, Cody was waiting outside mine. He looked pale, almost sweaty. He said, "Don't go out there alone anymore. People have gone missing around here." I thought he was messing with me, trying to be creepy. But he wasn't smiling, not even close. That night I couldn't sleep. Around 2 a.m., I heard this tap, tap, tap on my window. At first I thought it was a raccoon or something, but then I heard a voice whispering my name. My room faced the woods. No one should have been out there. I froze, didn't move, didn't even breathe. Eventually, I heard footsteps walk away, and then nothing. The next morning I told Cody. He didn't act surprised. He said, "I told you, man. There's something wrong here." I asked him if he thought someone was messing with us. He said, "It's not someone. It's something." After that, he started sleeping during the day and staying up all night. I didn't see him much. When I asked other co-workers if they'd seen anything weird, they just laughed it off. Said Cody was kind of losing it. One night, I woke up to the sound of banging on the cabin door. Not knocking, banging. I grabbed the bat I kept by the bed and opened it a crack, but no one was there. Then I looked down. There were wet, barefoot footprints leading away from the door, toward the lake. I wanted to wake someone up, but I just locked the door and sat in bed with the lights on till sunrise. 2 days later, Cody disappeared. They said he probably quit and left early, but he didn't tell anyone, not even me. His stuff was still in his cabin. His phone was charging on the nightstand, clothes in the closet, nothing packed. They called it a voluntary disappearance, but I know better. His last words to me were, "Stay out of the woods at night." I finished out the summer barely sleeping, always looking over my shoulder. And sometimes when I can't sleep even now, I swear I still hear it. That whisper, calling my name. The summer after I turned 20, I got a job working at this rustic mountain lodge in Colorado. It was one of those seasonal places that catered to wealthy tourists who wanted to disconnect from the grid. No cell service, no Wi-Fi, just trees, trails, and log cabins. They put me up in a small staff bunkhouse near the edge of the property, about a 5-minute walk through the woods from the main lodge. It was peaceful during the day, but once the sun went down, it got dark. Like, can't see your hand dark. My third night there, my manager Chris told me to drop fresh towels off at cabin 9. Said the guest had called earlier using the main lodge phone asking for more. It was around 8:30 p.m., already getting dark, but I didn't think much of it. Cabin 9 was the furthest one up the trail, kinda isolated, backed right up to thick forest. I remember knocking on the door and waiting, but no one answered. I knocked again. Nothing. So, I left the towels on the porch and headed back. The next morning, I ran into Chris and asked if the guest in 9 ever got the towels. He looked confused and said, "What do you mean?" "That cabin's empty until Friday." I told him I was sent there with the towels, and he said he never got any call. Said maybe someone else messed up the schedule. But there was something in his face, like he wasn't telling me everything. A couple nights later, I was closing up the kitchen when I saw a light on in the woods. Not a flashlight. It was like a soft glow, coming from the direction of cabin 9. It was past midnight. I figured maybe someone had checked in early, but no one told me. So I walked up the trail. When I got closer, I realized the cabin door was wide open, but the lights were off. Completely dark inside. The glow I saw, it was gone. I felt this intense chill, like I'd just walked into a freezer. I called out, "Hello?" No answer then. Just as I was about to walk up to the porch, I saw someone in the window. Just a shape. No details. Just watching me. Not moving. I froze. Then it stepped back into the shadows. I ran. The next morning, I went back in daylight with Chris. The cabin was locked from the outside. No sign of anyone inside. No footprints. Nothing moved. Just the towels I'd left, still neatly folded on the porch. I asked him again if someone was staying there. He said, "You wouldn't believe me if I told you." Then he said that years ago, a man had come to stay in cabin 9. Solo traveler, quiet guy. He was supposed to check out after 3 days, but never did. When the staff finally went to check, they found the cabin empty, door locked from the inside. No luggage, no note, nothing. They searched the entire property, never found him. His name was still in the system. Reservation number, everything. And get this, the original call asking for towels. It came from the landline inside cabin 9, a phone that hasn't been plugged in since 2017. Last summer, I got a paid internship at this historical museum in Pennsylvania. It wasn't anything glamorous, just some quiet, air-conditioned halls, dusty exhibits, and weirdly enthusiastic retired volunteers. But it paid well, and I needed the credit for school. The museum was located in this old Victorian mansion that had been converted into exhibit space. Half the rooms still had original furniture and artifacts, while the other half had newer displays. But the whole place creaked constantly, smelled like lemon polish and mildew, and had that vibe like something was always watching. My job was pretty simple: assist with guests, update labels, and help inventory stuff in storage. And the storage? That was in the basement. A tight, low-ceilinged maze of shelves and crates. No windows. Just flickering motion sensor lights and one old elevator that made a horrible groaning sound every time it moved. One afternoon, my supervisor, Dana, asked me to go down and check if we had a missing World War I uniform. I had to go alone because everyone else was setting up a temporary exhibit upstairs. I didn't love going down there solo, but I figured I'd be quick. As soon as I got off the elevator, I noticed the lights weren't coming on like they usually do. Only a few flickered to life, not enough to fully light the aisles. but I knew the section I needed was about 20 feet in, near the back. I was using my phone's flashlight, which made everything look even creepier. Just rows and rows of mannequin limbs, rolled up flags, headless busts, and old leather trunks. I kept telling myself this was normal museum stuff, nothing to freak out about. Then I heard something fall, like a soft thud behind one of the shelves. I froze. I whispered, "Hello?" thinking maybe Dana had come down after all. No answer. So I kept walking, but slower. I turned a corner and saw a mannequin lying face down on the floor, like it had tipped over. Except, it hadn't been there before. I figured maybe it had been propped poorly and just fell. So I went to stand it back up, and that's when I noticed it wasn't one of ours. It wasn't made of plastic or fabric. It looked like wax, like those old lifelike figures you see in antique museums. Its face had glass eyes, mouth slightly open. It was dressed in what looked like a nurse's uniform from the 1910s. I touched the shoulder to stand it up, and I swear it was warm, like skin warm. I jumped back and dropped my flashlight. The beam spun around the floor and landed on something else. An open door at the end of the aisle. It was a door I'd never seen before, one that definitely hadn't been open when I came in. It was small, almost like a servant's closet. The light inside was on, and there were shadows moving around. I didn't go in. I backed out of the aisle, grabbed my phone, and walked. Didn't run, but walked fast, back to the elevator. I pressed the button a bunch of times until it finally came down, creaking all the way. When I got upstairs, I tried to tell Dana, but she just looked at me like I was nuts. Said there was no wax figure in the storage area, no old nurse's uniform either, and definitely no door at the back of the aisle. But the next day, she came in looking kind of shaken. She said, "You said you were looking for a World War I uniform, right?" I nodded. She held up a black and white photograph from the archives. It showed a group of nurses standing on the front steps of the mansion back when it was still a private residence used as a medical shelter during the war. One of them, in the middle, had the same face, same uniform, same glassy stare. And on the back of the photo, someone had written, "Do not store in basement. She walks."